Hello folks, welcome in another small stream. As mentioned yesterday, I wanted to have a look at the Mario Galaxy Super Mario movie direct. Although there's a reason why I started a bit earlier than usual. Let me see. I'd like to have a look at something. I think before we start watching the direct, this could be pretty interesting. Let's see, do this and that. That looks about correct. Although, not really. That seems about right. You probably, some audio would be nice, right? So maybe I can start some music here in the background. Although maybe we don't need any music. What are we, brain rotted? We should be fine without it. Something that I thought would be kind of cool to look at, because I only realized not too long ago that I received such a thing, is the review of sorts, kind of looking back to how the year on the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2 was in 2025. I actually kind of looked over it myself real quick. But the funny thing is it actually goes even a little bit further back. Watching over the years of the whole generation of the Switch 1. Yes, Delta Spark, that's how I was called back then, also on YouTube. It's also, by the way, sorry, it's in German. But oh well. I guess when it comes to numbers, it doesn't matter too much. Something that I wanted to do first is a review video myself for last year, but then I saw how many people were actually doing that themselves. Not only that, but also what they are looking forward to in this year, so I thought, most people wouldn't care probably about what I think about the past and also what I'm looking forward to. Although I had already started making a big, script for the video on YouTube, kind of scrapped that. Now I'm thinking about picking it back up again because, yeah, I played quite a few games. Not only on the Switch or Switch 2, but also on the PC. So maybe I'll still make such a video. I'll think about it. I think it's also obvious to say that Xenoblade Cross Definitive Edition was the game that I played the most on the Switch. I grinded quite a bit in between the streams to finally get as quick as possible to the new content, to chapter 13. Took a little while, but that was fine. Of course, also Silk Song, Donkey Kong Bonanza, all makes perfect sense. One thing that I saw is Romance 4%. I don't remember playing a romancing game. Which game had romance as one of the, I guess, topics or tags? Does Fire Emblem Engage count under that? Maybe it does. I don't remember any other game having some sort of romance aspect to them. Probably, very likely. But yeah, anyways, I guess action was my most played genre. Then we have also the very obvious, once again, you see where I played Xenoblade Cross the most. Played through this whole game in March. I think we'll still get to the separate months and which games I played the most there. But May, when did the Switch 2 release once again? Wasn't that in June? So I guess it makes sense that right before that there wasn't much to play. My Switch was more or less just collecting dust. I really only played Xenoblade Cross Definitive Edition during that time. And of course it picked up a little bit once I got the Switch 2. I definitely played Switch 2, not just a little bit. I played this for 1 hour. This for 80 hours, then another 30 hours here. I might have finished the game in May. Then played Mario Kart World in June the most. Then I also finished Fire Emblem Engage, cleaning up my backlog. Which, hey, I also done a fantastic progress last year. Cleaning my backlog bit by bit. Then we had this game, absolutely fantastic. Played it the most throughout those 2 months. Hollow Knight Silksong makes perfect sense. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment. I think the name still kind of sucks. Especially in German, it's quite a mouthful. And then we had Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Yes. And then I've already chosen my game of the year, but for some reason it asks me that again. I don't think we have to discuss here much. I think when it comes to my top 3 this year, it is on first place Clair Obscur, second place... It's a tough choice between Donkey Kong Bonanza and Hollow Knight Silksong. I like Xenoblade Chronicles Cross Definitive Edition, but I wouldn't say it's in my top 3 of the best games I played this year. I don't think so. But still, all very good games. Yeah, and there is the compact version of it all. But there's actually a time machine. Played the system for the very first time in March 2018. Pretty much 1 year after the system released. I still remember getting the system with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey. Incredible frame rate. Yeah. One of my most played games for sure. Right after that, played Super Mario Odyssey. I had such a good time. The Switch made me fall in love with video games again. Yeah, I also played quite a bit of Pokémon Quest. It's nothing incredible, but I had a genuinely good time with this one. It's kind of like a mobile game, but hey, like I said, I think it was pretty enjoyable. 300 hours of Fortnite, yeah, on the Switch 1. Man. They kind of ruined the game on the Switch at one point, I remember, which made me quit. Because instead of being put with PlayStation and PC players and such together, which was the thing at the start, which wasn't that bad actually. But then they started to put the Switch players together with phone users, and they had auto aim, which wasn't really working on the Switch. And people could just drop from the ceiling from houses and instantly headshot you, because it was actually kind of busted with how it worked on the phone. So that was kind of ridiculous. Ah yes, the small indie games you played for like 1 hour at most. Because they were available for like 99 cents. Kinda did that at the start of the Switch generation, but definitely didn't do that later on. Brawlhalla was cool. Didn't play it that much, but I think it was pretty neat. Played it before Smash released. And then it got exchanged. Ah, this was also where my Warfare... Yes! 1,475 hours. There is so much I could say about this game. Are those screenshots I did? No, I never had Trinity with that much Forma on them. Right? No, I don't think so. Yes, and then Brawlhalla got switched out with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Before I started doing YouTube, I wanted to become a little bit more professional, I guess. Esport kinda person in Smash Ultimate. Entered some tournaments here and there, but it never turned into much. Which, hey, maybe that's a good thing. That's when NSO became a thing. What was Lightseekers? I think that was another one of those mobile games. It's still kind of a problem with this eShop. Yeah, I didn't play Tetris 99 a lot. Still cool that that's a thing though. Another mobile game. Enter the Gungeon is a lot of fun. I know that they announced a 3D version that is supposed to be releasing this year, which I'm looking forward to. Not sure how it was called. Exit the Dungeon, I think it was called, instead of Enter the Dungeon. Looking forward to that. Could never really get into this one. Although I really enjoy Fire Emblem. This game, I don't know. I started this game so many times again and again, but just never really was able to push through it all. One of the rare games where I actually decided to never get back into them because I don't know. Ooh. The Outlast games are incredible on the Switch One. They did a fantastic job porting these games onto that system. Yeah, I played both 1 and 2 on it. There's also Mario Tennis Aces, which was free actually for NSO. The playtest thing that they had. I think this was the year where I played quite a few horror games on the Switch One. Layers of Fear, also incredible horror game. Yeah, put quite a few hours also into SNES NSO. Played Super Metroid again. And also Metroid Fusion for the very first time. I think it was on here, not before that. I played Super Metroid on the original SNES. Yeah, that was something. Yeah, wow, I put a lot of time into Asphalt Legends. 136 hours? Really? I remember playing Asphalt 8 on my phone. Schnitzel, welcome in. Quite a bit actually, and I think Asphalt 8 was the last good Asphalt game. Although I think this right here was still pretty solid at the start, but the microtransactions and just the pay-to-win aspect was becoming worse and worse. And at some point I lost the interest. Rocket League, also, really enjoyable game. Did I mention I like racing games? I'm also looking forward to Forza Horizon 6 this year. Really good games, really good games. There's also Forza Horizon 6 reaction on the Sparks Opus Live channel. Since this video will pretty much... No, I'll try to get this video out on the main channel. I think I'll do that, cut it together and stuff. I'm doing pretty good. We'll be reacting to the Mario Direct in 10 minutes. This was funny, but also another one of those mobile games. Hope you're doing good yourself, by the way, Schnitzel. Slender the Arrival, yeah, it really was the horror game year for me. Slender the Arrival, unironically, I think it is the best Slenderman game out of them all. Slender the Arrival is really good. Because Slenderman is not the only, like, evil entity roaming around. You have those little gnomes. These little people running around too. It kind of also continued into next year. Resident Evil Revelations 2. Pretty solid game. It was a pretty solid game. Never played the multiplayer because it was dead when I got to it. Right, that's when I actually went also back into Splatoon 2. I loved Splatoon 1 so much. It is my most played game on the Wii U. But considering that Splatoon 2 felt more like a Splatoon 1.5, I never really... I never gotten it into it too quickly. I think the game released in 2017, so it was quite late. But I also think I got it on a sale, so that's why I went into it. The sale was also pretty steep. Welcome in, Molduga. Yeah, this is like a timeline thing that all Switch users have received, which is pretty cool. Warface? Clutch? I think this was a pretty solid shooter, first-person shooter for the Switch, which at that time there weren't that many, and I kind of wanted to give it another shot. As you can see, I played a few hours to scratch that itch, but that's about it really. Yeah, and I think this is when ARMS was free after Mario Tennis Aces on NSO. It is fun, but I couldn't imagine spending full price on a game like this one. But that's just my opinion. Although, like I said, I did have a fun time with with an hour that I spent on it. Ooh. I played through this game 3 times. Also in extreme, no, it was called Nightmare difficulty. The best horror game I have ever played, period. Also an incredible Switch port. This game looks unironically like the PlayStation 4 version. They did a phenomenal job on this port. Man, I played so many horror games. Little Nightmares, one of my favorite IP ever. But now exchanged with Reanimal after this whole Tarsia Studios left Bandai Namco thing. But yeah, Little Nightmares 1 and especially 2, man. Great games. Yes! Talking about great games. I had this game on the Wii U. Also one of my most played Wii U games. I even 100% of this game on Wii U. I got all of the costumes. I was a maniac. This is essentially Lego GTA. That was so good. I love this game. Amnesia Collection, also very good game. Quite a classic when it comes to horror games. Dead Cells, also finished the game. I got to the ending. The difficulty spike of this game, once you start to insert the first boss cell, is quite steep. I got wrecked so hard after activating the first boss cell that eventually I just thought, alright, okay, I have seen enough. But also, fantastic indie game. I wished I played this game more. I played Rayman Legends already on my laptop many years ago. And it was also very cheap on the Switch one, so I kinda got it, played it for a bit. Maybe I'll get to it eventually. Just back playing a few more rounds, a few more levels. Outlast 2. Also, they did a good job on the Switch 1 port. Outlast 1 is better than 2, but I think Outlast 2 is still a very solid game. I think I'll get to the end of this year, and then we'll react to the Nintendo Direct, and then we'll go back onto here. I wish they would make a Pokemon Tekken 2. I think this game is underrated. This is a pretty fun game. I also think the Switch version could have used a little bit more of an enhancement. I think the port wasn't exactly the greatest. Ooh. Tasty stuff. If you like Metroidvanias, what are you doing? You should definitely play the Ori games. Only 10 hours? Nah, I played more than 10 hours. Or maybe it was only 2020, this could be possible. Yeah. This is also, man, one of the best racing games out there. Burnout Paradise, I also got it when it was on sale. I have it physically. Incredible game, very fun. Damn, 101 hours, really? But yeah. I was very happy that they actually changed up the formula. It was finally a unique, more unique experience than most Warriors games. Also with the... Yeah, solid story. I know we all wanted it to be more canon, more lore accurate to Breath of the Wild. I was a little bit mad at first, but I appreciated the switch up eventually. Because they did a good job with how they told the story. I think it was pretty cool. Despite the fact that it wasn't canon at the end. Look, man, I have nothing to say about Minecraft. Probably the best game I've ever played in my life. The game that has... yeah, part of my childhood. So many memories I have tied to Minecraft, I don't know. I grew up with this game. Ever since the alpha days. Ooh. Yeah. I'm waiting for a Luigi's Mansion 4. A must-have for the Switch. The visuals are incredible. The animations and the lighting and everything. Chef's kiss, really. Incredible. Ooh. Yeah. That is where my journey began, man. That's where I got hooked. Oh, man. Let us switch to the Nintendo Direct. I'll continue in a moment. I'll also stop the recording for now. Let us switch to the chatting screen. There you go. I think the audio should still work. Also, is it normal that it's looking like it does here? I think I had this issue before, but I don't remember what the solution to that was. Cinema mode. Let me switch to Twitch chat again. It should start any second now. Ah, there you go. Can someone tell me what the problem here is? I don't know what the problem is. I think it's fine if we look at it like that, right? Maybe I won't get copyrighted in this way. But do you have audio? No audio. Now you should have audio. Oh, this is straight up out of Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, you're here.
Now, where's the troubled pipe?
I'm so looking forward to this game. Look at the visuals. Dude, look at the visuals, man! Ah, sure, let it be like that.
Come on, you're not the scared guy anymore. Yes, I am. People don't change.
There's the problem.
Who's that?
Hey. It's all right.
Who's that? Yoshi! Yoshi! They confirmed Yoshi! Cheap Cheeps! Dude, the Super Mario 3? Birdo!
Who is this? Yoshi.
Come on.
So
That is
some
mad
dinosaur
adorable.
just shows up and he's now part of the group. Cool.
And the Nintendo Direct ends now. The T-Rex from Odyssey!
How was that?
You know what's funny?
After the first trailer was released,
For a Galaxy movie, there's a lot of
Yoshi not going
Odyssey.
to be in the movie? Of course he's in it. For over 30 years, Yoshi has been a significant part of Mario's adventures. When we began developing Super Mario World, Yoshi was created from the idea of wanting to run around while on a small dinosaur.
Yeah.
Mr. Kondo added percussion to the background music, and Yoshi, who's fun to use for running, jumping, stomping, eating...
I guess I wouldn't
and
get too hung up on the
was born.
Galaxy aspect, although we'll
Later,
see.
in Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, he protects baby Mario and starts throwing eggs as well. Even after evolving into 3D, Yoshi has continued to play an active role across different games.
Yoshi's Woolly World
For
isn't
this
on
movie,
Switch,
we
right?
collaborated with the artist at Illumination to bring Yoshi to life on the big screen.
Or was it Crafted
Okay,
World?
let's also hear some remarks by Chris-san from Illumination.
There's one Wii U
Chris-san.
game that isn't on Switch.
Thank you, Miyamoto-san. Since the last time we spoke, animation has now been fully completed, and the movie has moved into post-production.
Yeah, no, but
Our teams are now
I'd say
focused on
let's
sound
wait.
design and the music that will carry our adventure.
okay, it
across
was
the
Woolly
galaxy.
World. Okay.
Directors Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelinek are collaborating with Brian Tyler, Nintendo, and our designers at Skywalker Sound. Brian has integrated themes from the Super Mario Galaxy
The visuals.
and is recording the score with a
The
7
visuals looked
score.
incredible in this trailer
This is
already.
one of my favorite moments in the life of a production, where we begin to experience all of the visual and sonic elements coming together. And we can't wait to share the movie with you in April.
Thank you, Chris-san.
Hey, maybe this could work.
Many familiar characters, including Yoshi, will play active roles in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. We hope you're looking forward to it. Okay then, see you later.
Okay, now it doesn't matter anymore anyways. Well, that was it, I suppose. Well. Okay, let me switch back to chatting screen. Close that. Oops. Where did we left off? Yep. Okay, we're back. Then... Is that correct? I think it is. Okay, that should be correct. Okay, right, we're back. The trailers are a little bit strange and feel a little bit not Galaxy. Like it's true, but I'm still looking forward to the movie. Yeah, 2020 was when I first played Xenoblade Chronicles. 125 hours. I was craving a story-focused game that takes its lore and universe more serious for such a long time. I always thought that it's The Legend of Zelda, right? But I don't think it was enough for me to be 1000% invested, you know? Especially because of the Zelda timeline and some things not exactly making sense. It felt a little bit sloppy here and there. But this changed my whole perspective on how a video game can handle its story and universe and everything. I still remember seeing the trailer for the very first time and being a bit confused. Why is a game that I have never heard of closing a Nintendo Direct in February? And then I saw the promotional footage from Nintendo. There was a chill Nintendo mix with Magna Forest, the song of Magna Forest, with just out of bounds camera work, just hovering around the world. And I thought, man, this is kind of cool. And then I eventually gave it a try after reading a few comments, convincing me to give this game a shot, and well, rest is history. Rest is history. I wish I played this game a little bit more. Super Mario Bros. 35 was a really cool game. I still don't understand why they decided to remove it from NSO. Make some of the things time-based. Doesn't make any sense to me. You have a free addition to NSO which increases the value of, well, yeah, the subscription service, really. So I don't really understand why they removed it. Also, same thing with Ori and the Blind Forest. Absolutely incredible game. You do notice in this game that the Switch 1 was struggling at points. But they still did a really good job in porting it to the Switch. Buttery smooth 60 across the board. Beautiful vistas. There is a Switch... There's a physical edition for Ori 1 and 2 combined. So if you get your hands on this one... Oh! I have the TV edition for Little Nightmares 2. Good game. Really good game. One of my favorite games ever, even, I'd say. Really good game. Also, same thing. Bowser's Fury was really interesting because it was kind of an in-between between what you would normally see in 3D World and I guess Odyssey. It is relatively short, but it was a really good time. And also, with the best Bowser design ever. He is edgy as hell, but he looked so cool. He looks so cool. With the heavy metal rock kind of soundtrack that accompanies him. Oh. I actually want to get back this year. I played through Golden Deer. Had a fantastic time. And then I eventually started playing right away actually, back to back, the Blue Eagle, I think? No, Blue Lions and Red Eagles. I played Blue Lions after that, but stopped playing the game shortly after the time skip that happens. And then never have gotten back to it. I even gotten the DLC, but I never really played through the DLC. This reason alone is why I want to play it before the new Fire Emblem comes out this year, Fortune's Weave. But also incredible game. Yeah. I was pretty good at this game considering I played it on the Switch. But I met so many toxic people in this game. Holy moly. People were such a horrendous fan base. I like this game. I think it's a really fun game. Really well done. But eventually I just couldn't anymore. I was even able to look past the pretty underwhelming performance of the game. Also, really fun game. Really good game too on the Switch one. I think, yeah, the game is also better than Revelations 2. Oh, Astral Chain. This is actually where I continue to try. This was my very first Fire Emblem game. With the Switch, I played so many genres, so many IPs for the very first time. And I had such a good time with so many games, and Astral Chain is definitely one of them. Name one more underrated game than Astral Chain. I think it barely sold 1 million copies. Hey, which is good for a new IP, but even then. One of the best looking games on the Switch with such a fun gameplay and combat too. It is a little hard to get into that because you have to play as your character and the Legion with both sticks at the same time. But still, once the combat clicks, ridiculous. It is really hype. The whole game is really hype. My mom gifted me this game. I didn't even want to have the game because I had it on the Wii U. But my mom told me, I know you played this game on the Wii U, so I know you'll probably enjoy playing it again, right? I guess. Yes, I played through the game again. It is my favorite Pikmin game, yes. I played through it multiple times on the Wii U. I actually tried to speedrun it too on the Wii U. I was so good at this game. This game was alright. It was a little bit too frustrating, more than often. Nah. Is there anything I can really say? I'm getting chills. I haven't even said anything. I'm getting chills right now. I think after playing 2 and also Torna, I fell in love with the series so hard. I already fell in love after Xenoblade 1. But especially after finishing the game, that whole last chapter, I was a little bit underwhelmed at the start. I thought, uh-oh, it is way more anime. Like, I don't mind anime games. Like, I like anime, although I never watch anime. But still, and also just the significantly more whimsical part. But I pushed through it, through the start of the game, and it just... The heights of this game were so high that, especially chapter 10, I just shook my head throughout this whole ending segment, just thinking, man, how can you come up with such peak fiction? This is so cool across the board. And Torna too. I even 100%ed this game. I think I said it so often now. Even did the horrendous Ursula quest. What a game. I swear, I played so much Peak throughout the Switch generation. I have been so spoiled. There is a reason why I say that the Switch is the greatest console ever created. It had so much fantastic games on that system. Hollow Knight, what an incredible atmosphere, the music, the art style, the grittiness of this, of everything, the lore, the story. It is so good. So good. Man. This was free on NSO, I remember. And you know what? It is essentially a Diablo, just in Minecraft. It was fun. If you're a Minecraft fan, you can definitely get quite a few enjoyable hours out of Minecraft dungeons. Risk of Rain is alright. It is cool and all, but the jump between Risk of Rain 1 and 2 is... There's like universes apart, as you can see in a moment. Although, I really didn't play it a lot. I wish I would have had someone to play this game with. Playing it by yourself feels a little bit lonely at times. I never found people to play this game with. Which counts for quite a few multiplayer games, but this is the reason why I kinda dropped it a bit sooner than other roguelike games. Oh, talking about peak. Oh, man. Oh, Metroid Dread was so good. It is like... Talk about a comeback, right? When it comes to an IP that has left for such a long time, and then they come back with Metroid Dread, and it's... I love the horror aspects of it, that they also kind of evolved upon from Metroid Fusion. What a game. Also, just playing this game feels so fluid. It controls so nicely. I had a really good time. A really fun game. Tried to 100% it. Did I actually get to? I think I did. I think I got to 100% this game too. Yeah. Incredible game. That's pretty fun. I think it was also an NSO. It was okay. An incredible remake. I remember the reactions to the art style. I thought it was pretty unique. Maybe a little bit too extreme on the chibi side of things. But yeah, it was a really good game. It always was a good game. It was ridiculously easy though. And also was plagued with some performance issues, unfortunately. But yeah. Good times, man. Honestly, I'm not a fan of this. I love Need for Speed. I always loved racing games, and I always loved Need for Speed up until a certain point. But I don't remember how it was back then, but I always preferred the open area, quote-unquote open world racing games that also Need for Speed had. These kind of games where you have a map and you just do races here and there, they're cool and all, but I always preferred the other games where you can actually cruise around, do stuff. All of a sudden the police is behind you and you have to remove them through activating traps. That was cool. The only reason why I got this game is because I was actually able to get this game day one instead of 60 for like 35. And I thought, what? This is... Are you for real? And then I thought, you know what? Actually, yeah. I love Skyward Sword. I'm one of those rare people who actually really love Skyward Sword. And then I got this game day one for pretty cheap, I would say. I think Skyward Sword has the best dungeons, the best soundtrack, the best characters. I think the gameplay is very unique too. Yeah, it's a bit janky at times, but swinging around with the sword and the shield in your hands, I don't know, I love that. I like to try new things, I think it's cool. Also, with the most expressive Link we ever had in any game, when people talk about Skyward Sword, they always say they hate it because of the motion controls, and that's where it ends. If you hate this game only because of the motion controls, hey man, that's your loss. It is your loss. Also, some of the most hype cutscenes in the series, some of the most emotional cutscenes in the series. Incredible. Ooh, yeah, I found a cheap physical version of this game because it got so expensive, it kind of vanished. Although I really wanted to get this game. But then I found it for a good price and then got it. A celebration of the Zelda series. If you're a Zelda fan, you kinda have to give this a shot, even if you don't like the Warriors gameplay. This is pretty.
King muscles for this one.
Oh shoot, Akbam! Thank you very much for the follow. We're almost in. We're already in 2022, so we're almost done. I still remember there's always kind of a... well, maybe debate is not the right word, but... what is better, Terraria or Minecraft? I personally always preferred Minecraft, but Terraria is also cool. Do you accept a reaction request? To videos, you mean? Depends on the video. Although I rarely do reaction to other people's content in general. Let us continue a little bit. I have a complicated history with Neo The World Ends With You. Music video? I think I would refuse here. Nothing personal, but... you're free to go into the Discord server of ours and then share it in the self-promo thing if you want. Maybe you can find some people who may be interested in it. I mean, that's why it's there in the first place. But yeah, Neo The World Ends With You. I don't even remember how I got to try this game. I saw it for... I think I saw a sale once again for it. And I thought, you know what? Maybe it'll be fun. And I think it's a good game, but there is so much reading. At points it really just feels like a visual novel. With a little bit of a social aspect and sometimes a little bit of combat sprinkled here and there. But man, there is so much reading. There is so much reading. The music in this game is incredible though. The soundtrack is really something else. This and the story also. I think the story was also pretty interesting. Those are the reason I continued to play through it, but I never finished it. I tried to get back here and there, but I don't know. Maybe I should try again now that the Switch 2 actually is capable of running this game at 60 frames at all times. Maybe. I was never a Monster Hunter person. I think they're cool, like just playing it here and there. But I can't see how some people spend hundreds of hours in this game, essentially, in a nutshell, just beating up monsters. I don't know, the novelty of it kind of wears off rather quickly for me. So it was cool that I got to try this game. I think it was also once again through NSO. But yeah, didn't really get into it too much. Yeah. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. What an evolution from the 2D Kirby games. Right? They really nailed it. Also, I'd like to point out that I'm the world record holder of the Tilt and Tumble minigame in the hardest difficulty. There is still a video on this channel where I show off that world record, and it has never been beaten before. You can still look it up. There isn't a faster time on this one. So I'm very proudly on, this world record here. Incredible game. The world, the gameplay, the music, the boss fights, the whole ending segment. Sick. Really, really good game. Fire Emblem Fire Emblem Warriors. It felt like a copy-paste of the Zelda Warriors games, just with Fire Emblem elements. That's like the most 5 out of 10 I've ever played. It's okay. It's nothing special, but it's okay. I don't even recommend it to people that are a Fire Emblem fan because it's weirdly enough not even a celebration of the Fire Emblem series. It just includes a few Fire Emblem games. I think Awakening and Fates. Also the one with Celica in it. I've forgotten the name. Shadow Valencia, right. But that's about it. Also, of course, Marth from the first Fire Emblem, but it's a bit strange. It's a strange little game. Let's skip this one. I have nothing to say on that. I played Resident Evil 4 for the very first time. Wow. Wow. What a great game. This game was fire. The Switch version is also pretty good. I think everything that has been said about this game is absolutely true. It holds up fantastically. It is a lot of fun. The jokes are funny, the characters are funny. Everything about this game is funny. It is just a blast to play this one. It is also a fantastic game to get into the Resident Evil series for the very first time. I love Leon. Now going into biggest disappointment. No, this is the biggest disappointment on the Switch one. There hasn't been a single more disappointing game. I was heartbroken when I played this game. I wanted a new Mario Strikers for so many years. And then we get one, and it's that. This game only has one single mode. You play on the same frickin' field with essentially almost the same characters with a botched multiplayer. Man. Even just remembering that makes me sad again. So much wasted potential across the board. I don't know what went wrong. Hey, Fall Guys was fun for a few hours, but that's about it. Oh, I even felt a little bit of, I'm getting chills again. Oh, man. Oh, I'm getting more chills again, just seeing that. I'm getting chills again. Oh, man. Oh, man. This is the reason I started YouTube, dude. This game is the reason I started YouTube. I thought, how is it possible that people aren't talking about this game? How is there barely any talk? How are people disappointed that this is the last announcement of the Direct? So many people were disappointed. Why? And that's when I decided to make a Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 montage. And then I made a trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3, which is still my most viewed video. Even nowadays. It's still in the top 3 constantly. It's like at, what, 350k right now? This game here is the reason I started doing YouTube. I don't even know what to say about this game. This game has kind of changed my life. Changed what I'm interested in, what I do. What my focus is on. Unironically, this sounds so corny as hell, but the Xenoblade games also kind of switched the way I look at life at some points. Incredible games, really. Also, I can't believe how the game hasn't received the best soundtrack of the year. I'm still heartbroken. That just shows me again how much of a joke the Game Awards thing is with the awards. It's just a popularity contest. It really is. People say who cares about the awards, but I think people, like, you have to look outside of it. Obviously, if you imagine you want to look up, you're a casual. You want to look up good games. What do? Best games of the year, best games of the year 2022. And then what does plop up? Elden Ring, yeah, of course, and other games. So if you think, hey, which game actually has some really good music, you type it in, and instead of Xenoblade, you have God of War now in there. Although it's kind of nonsensical. If you played both games, you hear from everyone who has played both games, the obvious answer is Xenoblade 3. It is the obvious answer. But since God of War is just more popular, it won. Personally speaking, I think even Elden Ring deserved it more than God of War. Yeah, journalists only play the game for like the first 10 hours and decide from there. Ridiculous. Video game journalists. I had a surprisingly good time with this. I know I barely played it. It was also an NSO. But I think I would really enjoy playing the Y series, E series, I don't know how the series is called. But it's pretty fun, man. This is pretty cool. I get the feeling I like JRPGs. Hey, once again, the only reason I got this game is because I got it for $39.99 day one physically. And I thought that's a no-brainer. The story was great. I liked it. The gameplay... Alright, the online was horrendous. The online was trash. We had constantly problems because the servers or the connection would be lost. Holy moly. That's why I dropped the game, by the way. Okay, we're slowly approaching the end. I made a Fire Emblem Engage video already. In a nutshell, the gameplay, fantastic. According to Fire Emblem fans, it is the best of like the whole series. But the characters, yeah. And also the story. Whoever came up with whoever was in charge for the writing, what did you do? Why did you do that? I barely played Game Boy. By the way, I don't remember. Did I say Metroid Fusion was on the SNES? I'll take it back. My bad. Metroid Prime Remastered. Honestly, after playing the game, I almost felt a little bit uncultured. Like, how did I miss this game? What a fantastic game. I do understand that people are disappointed in Metroid Prime 4. Considering the games we had before. Because this game right here... yeah. It's one of the greatest games ever made. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's a solid game. It's a solid game. But the way, man, this story and the lore, or the lack of lore, it has kind of ruined the experience. It feels like a sandbox game, which this is not what The Legend of Zelda is about, man. It really isn't what the series is about. I think it's cool that they have a physics system as good as they have it in Tears of the Kingdom, but even then, too much was lost because of that. Pikmin 4 is a really good game, but I think it had quite a few step backs to the previous game. It feels in many aspects a little bit too safe. And also the controls. Some of the controls that they added in this game in comparison to 3 felt like such a massive step back too. I had a really good time with the game. But definitely not my favorite Pikmin game. But I had a blast playing it, yeah. Hey, that was pretty cool. They brought F-Zero back in a way. Made it a little bit more relevant. I still also remember meeting Mewtwo King during one of the races. That was really cool. That was really cool. And I even have beaten him. That was nice. Talk about a way to bring back and kind of revolutionize a IP that became stale. After all the 2D Marios that kind of looked samey, all of them, this is such a breath of fresh air. I had such a good time with this game. We streamed this game. That was such a nice stream we had. Playing this game also together with Cass and Cookie. That was cool. I fondly remember. Also Molduga, I think, also participated. I remember this game very fondly. Yeah. I wish I liked this game more. I'm not a fan of rhythm games. This is also, just like Mario and Rabbids, one of those games I'll drop and probably never pick up again. I just don't really like rhythm games. I don't like being forced into a single play style. Having to play constantly in sync. It bothers me a bit. But it's such a love letter. I wish Nintendo would do that more often, with lending bigger IPs to smaller studios. This is so cool. I wish they would do that more often. Yeah. Also here, man. What a game. The gameplay is so good. The controls are so snappy. The story too, and the message behind it all, the characters. Such an adorable game. And also relentless at times. Holy moly, especially that ending segment. I only finished it to 50%, the very last, here the hardest difficulty, and I think I was good there. Yeah, that was certainly something. Did I really play it for 40 hours? You sure? Good game. Interesting game. It's a rather unusual game, but that's what I enjoyed about it. Also, yeah, right. The story. This is the game that kind of restored my faith in the Zelda series again when it comes to the story and lore. This had the biggest lore drop ever since Skyward Sword. Yeah, that was really cool, man. It felt a little bit too restricting at times, with you being unable to fight and you just having to rely on monsters you summon. And once you get a really good one, you kind of just start spamming this one. And also the menu was horrendous, dude. I don't know why they decided to copy-paste Tears of the Kingdom's menu, which also was horrendous. But, hey, still, I really enjoyed this game. I hate this game with a burning passion. I wasted 50 hours of my lifetime in this game. I don't know why I decided to push through it to the very end, because I dropped it multiple times. I don't like this game. Moving on. Hey, can you complain about Nintendo 64 NSO? I can't. Same with Game Boy Advance. I should put more time into these games. I think everything regarding this game has also been said. It's crazy how underrated this game is. It's kind of like the middle child that nobody likes. Something along those like, well, not no one likes, but kind of gets ignored. A lot of people don't care about this game, which is unfortunate. But it was a great game for this year. Yeah. This game... give me a short second. Just a short second. Okay, so where were we? Mario Kart World. It's a little bit like... a little bit like... Here, Mario Strikers Battle League, where it is so much full of missed potential across the board. They created the whole open world, but to say that it was underutilized is an understatement. The one game that I instantly think of that made such a great use of its world is Diddy Kong Racing. Why aren't there like missions, I don't know, NPCs? You could have included stuff like taxi, take this character, drive it somewhere in that amount of time, or even better, something like Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon is like the perfect blueprint for how you should do an open world racing game. And this game does absolutely nothing with its open world. Absolutely nothing. The stickers that you have like thousands of challenges in the world for stickers, and the best part is you can only put one single sticker onto your car and or bike or whatever, and that's it. Like, what's the point, genuinely? This feels like such a waste of time to drive around and collect those stickers. Like, why would you do that unironically? Even as someone who's a completionist who wants to get everything, even the Koroks felt more rewarding, even though I got a literal piece of crap at the very end. I don't know, it felt so strange. Also, something that other people complain about, that the race tracks, if you can even call them this way, the intermission tracks, right? You're just driving a straight line. The stages by itself are really great. They're cool. I like them a lot. But like I said, in a lot of ways, it has just so many missed opportunities. But I gotta give it to him. The final stage, the Rainbow Road of Mario Kart World, is probably the greatest race track I've ever seen. That was really, really great. They really outdid themselves. Anyways, not there's much to talk about there or here. The reason I have 5 hours in the Nintendo GameCube thing is because I replayed Luigi's Mansion. I gotta give credit where credit is due. I applaud Nintendo for, considering that everything got more expensive, that they added the Nintendo GameCube thing without a price increase. I was convinced that if they add Nintendo GameCube, they would raise the prices of NSO, but they didn't. They haven't done that. So, that's cool. Honestly, how can you complain, right? Maybe a little bit lacking on the game aspect. There could have been a few more games. I actually would like to try Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on stream. Because I've been told this is a really good Fire Emblem game, and I'd like to give it a shot. At least once. Like a test stream for it. Maybe next week. I'll think about it. Yeah. Good game. Good, well, good game. Hasn't aged too well. I think. I was more frustrated with the game than I thought I would be. I don't know. It's still a solid game overall, but also the only reason I have gotten Pikmin 1 and 2 is because I found once again a physical version with a good price. But those are the laziest ports I've ever seen. They could have done so much more. Finally actually playable. With the power of DLSS, the game looks incredible on Switch. There is a video actually on the main channel that I did playing this game. The game looks really good on Switch too. My game of the year for the Switch, right? For the Switch 2. For the Nintendo side. This is the Super Mario Odyssey of 2017. It is a must-have for the Switch 2. Like, if you buy a system, this is one of those games that you definitely buy it for. I did do a review video on this game already, yeah. So, I mean, if you have the Switch 2, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't get Donkey Kong Bonanza. Also, finally, Donkey Kong being back after such a long time. Also, an incredible comeback. You wished DK Bonanza was longer. I think this game was just about right from its length. I think it was just right. Not too short, not too long. I think the biggest reason for the price increase is just the physical medium. The cartridges with the increased speeds. This is why the prices had such a big jump. They are quite expensive. Right, through NSO, Monster Hunter Stories 2, I actually have bought... This is the first time where I actually bought the game after trying it on NSO, because of how much I enjoyed the game. Really good game. And it's taken advantage of the Switch 2 also by quite a noticeable amount. There is no Switch 2 edition, but the game was struggling quite a bit from what I've heard on the Switch 1. So now it runs constantly at 60 FPS. Looks pretty crisp. Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty enjoyable game. Can recommend. Do I enjoy Hollow Knight 1 or 2 more? I think I would say 1. There are some things about this game that are game design related that I still don't understand. Like, for example, the bench placement. And also how they handle boss fights, and if you die to a boss fight you have to sometimes walk back for like 50 years. And also the fact that now you have to do microtransactions to get benches. Like towards the end of the game, or later half of the game, it wasn't that bad. But at the start, where you're constantly broke, you barely get any money, rosaries. If you die, you messed up. Because you weren't able to sit down anywhere. This made me frustrated a few times, and I think rage quitted the stream once because of that. I never knew that. So... But still, good game. Fantastic art. The gameplay is fun. Also that you have different fighting styles. The music, of course. The environments, the enemies. There's a lot of positives that you can say about this game. But also, yeah, I just remembered the difficulty spike just in general, also with regular enemies being able to do boss level damage. And that's a little bit nonsensical. The fact that they even went back and nerfed some bosses and enemies just tells you that, yeah, they kinda overdid it a bit with the difficulty. This was also through NSO. It's an interesting game. I touched upon this game in the previous stream. I think it's a really cool game. The atmosphere is incredible. The visuals are incredible. The music, the story too. Also, the gameplay is very unique. I've never played a game like this one. But I'm not a fan with using real-world aspects, I suppose. I do remember also from the previous Shin Megami Tensei games that they used things like Yahweh from the Bible, Lucifer. There's also Buddha. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point even Jesus Christ himself would show up. Maybe even as an antagonist for some reason. Because they seemingly like to twist everything. Yeah, sure, we have creative freedom, right? People can do whatever they want, but I just find it distasteful. as an example, something that I like to bring up is Xenogears, where I guess this is kind of a spoiler, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you can close your ears for half a minute. So the final boss was also supposed to be called Yahweh, which obviously is the biblical god, which would have been, you know, distasteful, I'd say. But this is also what they, from what I've heard, said themselves, and they switched it to Deus, which is just Latin, I think, for God, and that's about it. So that was cool, right? Just kind of give it your own little spin, or make it a little bit more broad, I suppose. Yeah. But hey, that's just me. But still, it's a really cool game. I see why people enjoy these games. I'm glad to finally understand why people enjoy these games. I think this kind of knowledge alone is pretty valuable. I believe most personas, whatever they're called in Shin Megami Tensei, are from mythology. Yeah, something along those lines. Did I mention I love Mickey Epic? Ever since the Wii. Because it is the most edgiest piece of Disney media that you can find. It is such a dark game, especially for Disney. I'm fascinated, honestly, that they greenlit this game. Because, in a nutshell, what this game is about is that you travel to a land with forgotten Disney characters. And it is a little bit almost... What is the word for it? I know the German word for it. Macabre? Morbid? Yeah, I think ghoulish? But you know what I mean, right? Where you'd say I'd never expect something like that from a Disney game. But this is just what makes it so special for me. I think the remake is alright. Especially the Switch version, I don't know. The visuals, for example, yeah, they have been upgraded by a lot. But you still feel a lot of the jank from the Wii version. I think it's a bit comparable to the Definitive Edition, though maybe in this case right here, maybe a little bit less than that. But you get my point. The game on the Wii was already quite full of jank by itself. Yeah, I talked about this game already. It's the safest game I've ever seen. It's a good game. But there's much more I have to say about this game. I think everything that I did say in the past is about it. I'm glad that it's canon. The music is cool. The characters are nice. Although, I think regarding the characters and the roster, a little bit underwhelming. Because half of the roster are no-name characters. So, I don't know. I had a good time with it though. I'm glad that there isn't so much grinding to it too. The gameplay has been also improved. Not by a lot, but it definitely flows significantly better in Age of Imprisonment. It is a lot more enjoyable to play this. And also it runs at 60 frames. It makes use of the Switch 2 hardware quite nicely. There's also like 10 times more enemies on the field than in previous games, so... Yeah. In some way, it is a show-off of what the Switch 2 can do. I think the best aspect about this game was the gameplay. But it actually also was pretty cool on the lore. It added lore to Breath of the Wild that even Tears of the Kingdom didn't do. So this is another really massive plus point for Age of Imprisonment. Okay, so the last two are Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which I also made a video on it. I think it's overhated. I understand if people are disappointed, and I get it. It could have been so much more, but this is like one of the most troubled game development, or games with... Wait, now I'm messing up my English. This game had a very troubled development. There you go. I'm honestly surprised how good the game still turned out to be, all things considered. The best visuals we ever had in a Nintendo game. The mouse controls were a lot of fun. Played through the whole game with mouse controls. The music is incredible. But it pains a little bit to say that, but it isn't anything special, really. It's not a special game. I'm also not exactly a must-have for the Switch 2. It also shouldn't be a reason to get a Switch 2, I would say. Other games do a better job on that front. The game looks surprisingly good on the Switch 1, so even there you're actually good to go. You just play it on the Switch 1. The one game I'm currently still playing, the game fell off a bit towards the end. It is really cool at the start, but I think they added a little bit too much. I'm still playing it. I think I should finish it in the next few hours. But there's too much you have to do in the late game, mid to late game. They add like a farming aspect, and then also having your own farm for fish. Maybe there is a separate word for that. But it is a little bit too grindy towards the end. There's too much to do, too much you have to focus on. But the first few hours are, man. The gameplay loop is honestly peak. Going down in the lagoon, fish a few, like fishes, you know, catch them, then make sushi out of them, handle a restaurant. It is a really fun gameplay loop. I think if you find the game on a sale, you should definitely give it a try. It's not a bad game, but towards the end it becomes a little bit too grindy for my liking. Yep, those were 8 years with Nintendo Switch. This is pretty sick, dude. Wow, man, Nintendo did a good job. Whoever designed this website, good job. That is great. Can I see it again? Oh, okay, I'm actually kind of having a good time here. Yeah. Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade 3, Xenoblade 1. So many games, man. So many games. The Switch was such a game changer for me. It really just showed me how much I love video games again. What a fantastic system. Out of all the games you could recommend to me, you show me those? Not even something like Fire Emblem? Fortune's Weave? Oh well. Folks, let me switch back to the chatting screen here. I hope you enjoyed this little more casual chatting stream. Yeah. Oh man, I feel really nostalgic right now. There's quite a bit of history with me and the Switch. I think this counts for a lot of people though. The Switch One had such a great run as a video game console. So many good games have released on that system. It's unfortunate to see though how Nintendo is handling the Switch 2 generation from the very start, especially with the prices and everything. Also with the lack of communication and you know, the usual stuff that kinda everyone is talking about. But the Switch 2 is a really nice system, man. This is the first time ever DLSS has been on a home console or a handheld, any console. This is something that was usually PC exclusive. This is such a big deal. You already see such massive games releasing on the Switch 2. The greatest example that is very, very recent is Final Fantasy VII Remake. This game looks good on the Switch 2. Like, it is right between the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 version. Although it is closer to the PlayStation 5 version. It's really cool. I actually want to try this game on the Switch too. This would be the first time I would get a game key card. I wouldn't buy it. I'm not gonna buy. Okay, let me restart that sentence. I don't want to buy game key cards, but for an example like Final Fantasy VII Remake, where the game is pretty massive on every single system, and especially for Integrate, which has the big DLC included, and there's also some nice physical things inside the box, right? This is where I can say, alright, yeah, I can look past that. But this is the exception. So maybe I'll do it. I still have to think about it. Right. Folks, I think that was a nice little casual talk. Thank you all very much for listening to me and my yapping. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. And also a fantastic start of the next week. Have a good one, folks. See you later.